cousin had sex on the floor next to me. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for being upset? It is a good read though, even though it is long. Context: I am a trans man and have a severe specific phobia called menophobia. I'm never gonna see any of you, so I'm just gonna write about it. But normally this stuff really bothers me. So, typical menophobia is fear of menstruation or fear of having your period. Mine wasn't a fear of the actual process, but I was terrified of talking about it. Certain words trigger me. I cannot stand the conversation. The phobia does extend into some sexual stuff as well. More context: I have severe PTSD from multiple previous SAs. My cousin Rachel just moved to up the street from me in MA, but she lived in NH before. She had to go up to get the rest of the stuff from her apartment, and she doesn't drive or have a car. We went up a few weeks prior with a U-Haul that was way too big, and we filled about a quarter of it before she said she was too tired and we would come back for the rest. The plan was to go up to NH in my vehicle, a large Kia Sorento, and get the rest of her stuff. We were going to go on a Sunday. I proposed that we go the night before, since she was giving me trouble about waking up early to drive up there. She wanted to leave around 10 a.m., and I wanted to leave around 6 a.m. because I had plans with my boyfriend Sunday night. She approved going up the night before, but I paid for the hotel, which was $125 for the night. I got out of work on Saturday and picked her up. She immediately made me go to the liquor store, and she buys a bunch of Fireball nips. I told her ahead of time I was not comfortable with her drinking in my car, and I offered to give her anti-anxiety medication. She declined, said she didn't want to fall asleep. I tried to tell her she couldn't drink in the vehicle, but she wouldn't listen and continued drinking. On the way up, I explained there was a store in Manchester that I really wanted to bring her to. Manchester Adult Lifestyles is the name of the store. Highly recommend it. They have everything related to being an adult: sex, smoking, weapons, tattoos, etc. That was the only thing I wanted, was to show her that store. On the way up, she tells me she made plans for us to go to this bar she used to go to when she lived up there. She then asked if I would mind if some guy she's been talking to for years comes and meets her in person for the first time. I told her I did not care. I would rather her meet him with me there than her alone. We got to the hotel in Kittery, ME, a small motel on the side of the highway, but it was perfect. One queen bed that we were going to share, which was fine. We get to the room and she goes into the bathroom to start getting ready to go out. She then has me DoorDash her $30 worth of toiletries that she forgot. She has not paid me back for this. I obliged and ordered them. She finished getting ready. I mentioned that I had not eaten all day and asked if where we were going had food. She said they do not have food and left it at that. She didn't really care that I had not eaten. We headed to the bar, which was about 5 minutes away. We arrive around 9:30–10 p.m. Mind you, I do not drink at all. I never have, cannot stand the taste. Also, I am a recovered addict and do not like being around people when they are intoxicated. And Rachel, my cousin, knows this, but is a severe alcoholic. She had me put my card down so we could play pool because she's 36 years old and does not have a debit or credit card. We go play pool. She continues to drink. When we play pool, she thinks she's a pro. I'm not good at pool. I only ever played it at the Portuguese halls at family parties as a kid. I was never taught how to properly play, but I do know how to get the ball in the pocket. My way of holding the stick is definitely not standard, but it works for me, so who cares? Rachel feels the need to correct my stance. She kept trying to teach me. I then got frustrated and told her to just let me play. I then got 3 in a row in, and she was astounded. We were there for a while. The bar closed at 1, and it was already around 11:30, and her friend had not showed up yet. He did eventually get there around midnight. He seemed nice to begin with. He was a very quiet guy, but polite. We were the last ones in the bar at 12:30. The bartender clearly wanted to go. She turned the music off. Rachel went and asked her to turn it back on, and she said that if we wanted music, there was a jukebox she could pay for. Rachel then asks if she can use my card to pay for music. I said absolutely not. We are leaving. It is time to go. She fought me and said they are open until 1. I went to the bathroom, told her to do the same and meet me outside. I went outside, The guy followed me because it was clear that it was time to go. She came stumbling out after. We are then outside the bar, right next to a major road rotary. Rachel, when she gets outside, she goes next to the building, in full view of me, the other guy, the street, the rotary, the world, and she drops her pants, squats and pees right in front of us. No warning, just drops tro and pisses on the concrete. Myself and the other guy both turn around immediately. I tell her that's not cool and she waves it off. I was talking to the other guy and he said he didn't know where he was going and he didn't have service, so he would just follow me back to the hotel. Oh yeah, he was coming back to the hotel with us. She conned him into helping us the next day. He says, "I'll just follow you back." Then Rachel comes over as he's walking to his car and said, "Don't worry, we are just coming back to the hotel. Then we will figure something out." Meaning, we will then go find somewhere to have sex. I'm then sitting in my car at the exit for a few minutes. I then see this guy whip out of the parking lot on the other side, with Rachel in the car. He flew up the road, went around the rotary, and I didn't see which way he got off. I was so caught off guard. The plan was for him to follow me. I obviously call Rachel. I called her 16 times. It was ringing and ringing, then being sent to voicemail. I was scared that this random guy just kidnapped her and now has her phone. I had an internal crisis. Had to figure out what to do. I took a minute and thought about it. I decided I would go back to the hotel, and if they were not back within 20 minutes of my arrival, then I would call the police. I got back to the hotel and was outside smoking and waiting for them. 20 minutes passes, and I started dialing 911. Before I hit call, they flew into the parking lot. The guy tried to give me some bullshit excuse. I just waved him off. Rachel did not even register that I was upset or that anything was wrong. They went into the hotel and tried to close the door. I said absolutely not. I paid for that room. I was not about to be shut out of it. They went outside, so I went back in. It was pretty late at this point, maybe 2-ish. I asked them if either of them need the bathroom because I was taking a shower and go to bed. They said no. I took a shower and went to sleep around 3-ish. At 4:30, I then wake up and hear them having sex on the floor next to me. I look over and they don't see that I'm up and continue. Being very vocal, I don't know how she thought I wouldn't wake up. I immediately had a trauma response. I froze and had a severe anxiety attack. I was incapacitated. I couldn't even say anything to get them to stop. I then hyperventilate so much that I pass out. I wake up at 10 a.m. to my alarm. I get up, and they are both sleeping on the floor shivering because they turned the AC on in May in Maine. I woke Rachel up and told her to get in the bed. Her lips were literally blue. She then asks if the guy can get in the bed. I told her as long as he does not touch me. He climbed in and I got up to start packing. She then tells me, not asks, tells me to order some DoorDash Dunkin' Donuts for them because they are hungover and hungry. He says he's not hungry and does not want anything. She makes me order him something anyway, which went to waste. Another over $40 that I will never see again. I'm packing. She got up and started packing. She told the guy to get up a couple times and he wasn't listening to her. It was close to time to check out and I was done. I yelled at him, "Get your ass up and out of the bed that I paid for." He immediately jumps up and gets ready to go. We are outside now and getting ready to go to her old apartment. I told him, "If you are not up my ass the whole way to this apartment, then I will kill you," or something to that effect. He was then my tailgate for the whole ride. Rachel, thankfully, went in his car. We got to the apartment and went up the stairs out back, and there was so much trash in front of the door that we couldn't even open it. Rachel asked me to go down and around, back up and in through the front door, then move everything and let them in. I just did it. I wasn't going to fight. I had to move over 10 bags of trash to let them in the door. This was the most disgusting place I have ever been. Trash everywhere. Moldy food. The stove was covered in this orangey grease. There was urine scalding all around the toilet on the floor. The entire apartment was gross. I did not want to be in there any longer than I had to. Rachel then went and started packing clothes. She wasn't really doing much. I don't think she brought anything down. The guy helped for about 10 minutes, then sat on the couch and started smoking with Rachel. They told me to sit down and take a break. I told them no, we just got here. I have plans tonight, we need to move. They both continued to sit and smoke while I packed the car. I filled the car as much as I could, it was packed. I went upstairs and told Rachel that's it is time to go. She said, yeah, that is everything. It didn't matter if that was everything or not. The car was full and I was done. We get in the car, the guy goes home, and we headed to Manchester to go to the store that I wanted to go to. It was an hour-and-a-half ride there. Rachel slept the whole way. We got to the store and I woke her up and told her we were there. She said to just go in, she didn't want to go. I was pissed. All I wanted was to show her this place, and she couldn't even do that. I cracked my window, locked the car, and took my keys with me. I was in the store for about an hour and a half, just to be spiteful. After spending way too much money because I was stressed, I went back to the car. I saw a grocery store up the street. I went there and told Rachel we were going in to use the bathroom and get something to eat. She told me she didn't have to go and she wasn't hungry, so I went in alone. When I came back out to the car, she asked me to drive around the back so she could pee. I told her I would drive to the entrance of the store so she could use the bathroom like a human, and she said no. She didn't want to deal with people, she just wanted to go behind the store. I wasn't about to drive 2.5 hours and have her piss in my car, so I went around the back. She got out and peed, then we set off for home. She then has the audacity to ask that when we get home, if she can nap for a little while before we unpack the car. I told her no. I have plans tonight. We need to unpack the car when we get there. She slept the entire ride home, which ended up being 3 hours with traffic. When we get to the house, I tell her to not open the back door of the vehicle because I have a bike rack that the door hits unless you move it a certain way. She doesn't listen. Whips open the hatchback and slams the door into my bike rack. She's pouting at this point, acting like a child. I told her to just go inside and go lay down. She said, just let me know when you unpack the car so I can help you. She thought I was going to wait for her. I just unpacked the car by myself, all of it, alone. I then went up to her room and said, car's empty, I'm leaving, and I left.